Hello, assumed humans. I don't know, aliens could be listening. Uh, welcome to this review episode of the Wayward Dragon podcast, where two extremely neurodivergent people attempt to make it in a non-neurodivergent world. And, sometimes we struggle, but sometimes we find things we enjoy and we hyperfixate on those things.
Yeah.
And, learn way too much or dig way too deep into those things. I am one of your hosts, Johnny.
Yes. And I am Kelsey. And welcome. Before we begin, what's one positive thing?
So for anyone who listened to our last episode knows that I was super excited because I'm a super nerd
something fun
and really dumb and love magic. And there was one card that I was super excited about, being like a cult junkie that I am, which is Flubs the Fool. It just came out, and I got my Flubs the Fool card. So I am way too happy about this, and it's so freaking cute. There's pictures of from last episode that we posted. If you guys want to go check that out. But as far as like what the card looks like and everything, but it's so freaking cute. And now he's a little froggy, and it's modeled around the Fool tarot card.
It is.
So now I have to make an entire deck around him, probably mainly just frogs, because he is a frog and I'm dumb and like theme decks. But yeah,
I would.
That's my thing. That's my thing. That was it. I mean, I have other stuff.
You like cut out for a second. I was like, what? What are you doing?
I just Flub is so cute. Flub is so cute. He is the cutest little froggy ever.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways,
he is cute. He is cute. So, my brother turns 30 here in a couple weeks, and for his birthday, I was like, okay, I'm gonna drag everybody to something I've always wanted to do, and I'm gonna disguise it as your birthday present. Because I knew that my brother would want to do this. I was like, he would think this is so fun because of like him being in music and stuff, like music theory and everything. I was like, okay, and him kind of being an artist in a weird way. My brother likes to draw. He would appreciate the color theory thing. So there's a company called House of Color, and we went and got our colors done yesterday. My mom, my brother, and I. And it makes me want to, have my dad do this.
I would hope
and my husband do this. I think I figured out my husband. I think he's a summer. I think he's a summer. So, so at the end of the thing, at the end of the appointment, she gives you like a fan of the colors that are kind of in your season, and at the back is kind of colored, all the colors in the other seasons, and like I'm kind of like holding them up to him, and I'm like, I think you're a summer because all the colors that you look really good in are in summer. Anyway, my mom and my brother are winters, and they're different winters, and I get to stay the hobbit-loving creature that I am in my autumns. I get all the browns, all the oranges, like the burnt oranges, like mustard yellow. I'm like, I will gladly live my hobbit life. I will embrace it now that I know that this is my color palette for the rest of my life. It makes me upset because I own a lot of black. But that's the story. I have to wear black a lot for work. I have to wear black shorts and stuff. So I was like, I don't have to change much of my wardrobe because I already embrace the hobbit gremlin creature that I am some days.
Curing your own bacon.
I just got done curing my own bacon.
What's the bacon stick?
That was a fun experience. Yes. So just like with everybody, inflation hits my house, and I was having a hard time justifying going to the grocery store and spending $7 to $8 on less than a pound of bacon, and I have to buy unquote uncured. It's not cured with curing salt; it's cured with celery powder. Celery produces a natural nitrate that's I can ingest. I can't if I eat normal bacon. Sometimes it gives me the worst migraine ever. Anyway, went to a bulk retailer here, Sam's Club. I'll go ahead and say Sam's. And for $25, I got 6 pounds.
You're muted and you cut off.
Of bacon. Cured it. So for $25, I have 6 pounds.
Hello?
I'm not muted anymore. Oh. I was like, I said we were still recording. It's fine.
Dude.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Okay, I had to unmute it and mute it. I wasn't muted. So yeah, that's been the latest homestead project. Very satisfying to cure your own bacon. I did like a coffee one and like a Southwest style one, which was really cool. It's just it worked. For 6 pounds for $25, we're spending almost
that
10 pounds or $10 for less than a pound. Doesn't make any sense in my little brain. Like this inflation like starts to make me mad and also I can make it myself and flavor it however I want. So
that's
but what do you want to get into first? Do you want to do reviews?
About anything
and then talk about the news? Or do we want to talk about the news?
I have a book review or book series review, and I have a movie review. And by the time this episode airs, we'll be past the spoiler thing, so I technically can make comments on it now.
Okay.
If that is okay with you. Okay, because I don't want to spoil.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be past the technical.
I'll put a spoiler.
Courtesy time period.
Spoiler.
I was just mainly looking at you as an individual.
Okay.
So.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Well, let's do books first, because I have one book I read.
I have a series.
Where are you at?
And it is not one of unfortunate ones.
My brother loved that series growing up. Oh wow, is it this one?
Well, that's the first book in the series.
Class A Threat? Is that what you read?
So if you want me to start, I can start.
Okay.
You know, I went through like a
holy
12-book series in 2 weeks.
Yeah, go for it.
Which I think there's going to be more books.
No big deal.
So it's the name of the book series is Disgardium. It is by Dan Sugralinov. Sugralinov. He's German. He's German. I should have asked my German friend how to pronounce
it's a tough
name. But that's fine. So it's actually translated into English. It's originally a German book series, but it is a lit RPG series. The world outside of the game, so it is a plug and play adventure. So they're being plugged into the game and playing through a game. But so it takes place in the future where society is, well, there was a third world war because of resources and all that, but society's broken off into different classes of citizens. And then there are non-citizens who obviously don't have any rights. And then so what you do is, you live in an area with people of like relatively close citizenship to yourself. You go to school together, and then you take citizenship tests to determine where in society that you technically fall into and how much of a contributing person you would be to society. And then if you're not, then you get put with the non-citizens, and they don't exactly have the best life, but the government does take care of their basic needs, albeit very basic, and it's hard for them to survive. However, there is a game that is very intricately tied into their society that people have to log into. When you're going to school, you have to spend at least 2 hours a day after your 14th birthday in this game. And then from there, you You can make real world money in the game. Some people do that full time. And, it's you have like clans and stuff, and there's all sorts of classes, and depending on how you play will depend on what options you have for your class. So like basically it's like, oh hey, you play like this. This is your habit. So you could possibly do this, or this. The main character, and divorce will change your citizenship if you're married. So it'll change your rank of citizenship. So the main character, he logs into this game every day, Disgardium, because he has really no interest in playing the game. And of course, as always, spoilers ahead. But he has no interest playing the game. So he's just basically goes in for 2 hours and sits on a bench inside the game and talks to one of the people he's in the game with until he finds out that his parents are getting a divorce because they've had some issues. And so they're like, well, we don't, because he wants to be a pilot and wants to fly through space. And they're just like, well, that's not going to happen because we're not going to be able to afford to pay for school after, the divorce. So you're going to have to figure out how to do that for yourself and take care of yourself. So he takes it, and it's, it seems kind of fucked up, but society norms, it's, society changes. I both agree and disagree with the situation, but that's neither here nor there. So he decides, I'm going to attempt to make money in Disgardium, or as they call it, Dis for short. So he starts to actually play the game, and there's a beggar in the game who's an NPC. That's a whole other situation. But basically, the beggar curses him because he basically tells him to fuck off because he's an NPC. And so he gets cursed, and the curse actually sticks. And so he gets this dumb ability in the game where anytime he dies, he automatically respawns to wherever he died at. And so he can't really completely die. So he gets stuck in this dungeon with this high level dungeon boss who is, and major spoilers here, but you think it's an NPC, but it's actually one of the non-citizens that's playing the character, because what they do is they decide to take non-citizens and force them to mine resources and play basically a number of the NPCs in the game, because that's how they pay them to live for their basic needs and stuff. So this boss was just like, you know what, fuck it, because he would keep killing this kid, he'd come back, kill him, he'd come back, and so the kid got this other curse from him. So basically, he just keeps getting more and more curses. And the way the game works is there are people who are considered threats. There's different levels, so if anyone can become a threat by different ways, but it's just kind of like a random happenstance. But if you reach your full potential as a threat, you get a bunch of money and stuff. So he decides, I'm gonna do this so I can get money for school. Some of his people he becomes friends with in the game, and they kind of take his side to help him with this. But he sees how fucked up the system is. He learns how fucked up the system is, and decides to try and bring down the system, and by any means necessary, while he's playing the game. And of course, the company that runs the game, who also has heavy influence over politics and all of that, doesn't like it. And so there's massive back and forths. There's massive fights as far as them just because they're running it hey, we're maintaining the rules of the game, so we're not going to take it and cheat, but we're also not going to give you any advantages, and we're not going to hold back on giving other people advantages against you. So basically, they're constantly trying to fuck him over, and he, by the skin of his teeth, constantly scrapes by and just gets more and more broken character stuff. Honestly, I was so hooked with this series. There's series that I'll casually go through. There's, some stuff that I enjoy, and I talk about stuff I enjoy and stuff I don't enjoy. Honestly, this is so much better than the last lit RPG that I read. And if you want to know about that, you can listen to one of the other episodes. But no, it was overall, it was really enjoyable.
Yeah.
It was really well done. So I'm hoping for more. I want more, but I highly recommend this book series. What about you?
Okay.
What have you read?
Okay. All right. So I finished The Blacktongue Thief by Christopher BuehlmanDisgardium. It's a D&D kind of style book. If you like Kings of the Wild, I would recommend this series. The author pulled a Kelsey and wrote number 1 and then wrote the origin of one of the characters. So if you read them in order, it will make one of the characters make sense. But basically, you're in a world where everything's kind of controlled by a guild. The main character is under the Takers or the Thief Guild, and to go through school, you have to pay the guild, and if you can't, then you accumulate a debt. The debt, you get like a tattoo kind of thing, and that's only visible like in certain lights. And if somebody finds your tattoo, then they get a free drink at the bar kind of thing.
That's an
actual thing. They get to slap you, and then you get a free drink. They get a free drink.
I thought you were making like a joke or a reference to something, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah, in the book. Yeah. It's a tattoo. Yeah. No, like it's a real thing. He gets kind of mad about it after a while. I love that the main character has an Irish kind of Scottish accent. So it's very funny to me to listen. I listen to this as an audio. But the Takers have given him a very kind of a very high-ranking job, and it will kind of clear his debt in a way. He has to follow this, kind of attach himself to this missionary, and her name is Gava. And he actually tries to rob her on the road before he finds out that like she's his assignment. You find out that Gava is on her way to find the Witch Queen. And the Witch Queen, her kingdom is getting attacked by giants. And her husband is dead, the king is dead, and she's kind of like gone underground in a way. And the whole book is just the odyssey of getting to where the queen is. But you find out that Gava she's a duke's daughter, and comes from a very prominent family, but she comes from this kingdom of horse people. And you find out that during one of the Goblin Wars, the goblins unleashed a virus kind of thing that killed all of the horses. So there was no way for her people to thrive. Her father basically went broke kind of thing, and she gets shipped off to war. The prequel book is called The Daughter's War. I just started it the other day. And it goes into her origin story. So kind of that's what The Daughter's War. You don't have to read it to get the first one. It just makes her make more sense kind of thing. Because like part of the unit that she's in, they cut off their breasts kind of thing. She's covered in magical tattoos. One's a bird, these huge like ravageous birds, and the bird is a part of her. The bird, like she's part of the bird kind of thing. The bird gets hurt, she gets hurt kind of thing. It's real crazy. But I'm curious to see what the second one's about in the series. It kind of sounds like he wrote it for a kind of an epic kind of draw. Our main character kind of finds out that his Takers Guild is kind of involved in a lot of stuff that he's not liking. And he's kind of taken it upon himself that he's going to do everything he can to destroy the Takers Guild, which is going to be fun. So I like reading epic fantasy. If you liked Kings of the Wild, I would recommend this book. It's kind of the same vibes. It's not as funny, but it is what it is. But yeah, I just started the prequel. They wrote them in this order, so I am just following along with what I should do.
Are you ready to go on to movies
and stuff? That's all I've got book-wise. What have you been watching? Let's go into movies and TVs. We haven't really been watching.
I have one thing.
Anything exciting.
You know,
I know the Olympics are kind of going on right now, so.
Spoiler ban is lifted after we post this from recording, so it'll be like 2 weeks generally, right? So if you have not seen it already, this is entirely your fault. Yeah. But Deadpool and Wolverine. Oh my goodness. So many fun cameos.
Deadpool and Wolverine? Okay.
I do have a gripe about the movie, and that's just that I think they tried to shoehorn in too many crude jokes, which is, it's fine. It's Deadpool, but also there was a lot of other things going on, and it's almost like Disney was like, hey, you can do this, but not this. So they're like, okay, well, since we can do this, we're going to do double it, or maybe 3 times. But it was fun. It was way gorier than the other. I feel like there was so much more gore than the other, whatchamacallit, Deadpool movies. However, the movie itself, quintessentially, is a love story. And, it's not like a love story like, well, I mean, it kind of is for like, going after a person. But no, what it is Deadpool and Wolverine is a love story for Marvel movies. And I'm not talking about the MCU. It is technically an MCU movie, but it is a love story to all the Marvel movies that came before the MCU. It is a love story to all the movies that we watched that, got some hate that, we remember fondly from our childhood, those of us who watched them growing up. It's a love story of, movies that came out and that we vaguely remember or fondly remember, or some of which we never got. Like they had Elektra in there from the Elektra movie and Daredevil movie. They had Wesley Snipes as Blade. Like they brought Wesley Snipes back as Blade, which was the first like theatrical Marvel movie. And I was, I hate myself now for this, but they had tried or had talked about for years doing a Gambit movie with Channing Tatum. And I was not about it. I'm like, there's no way he could do it. There's no way he could do it. They actually had him in the movie as Gambit. And I'm mad at myself for this because he did such an amazing job. It was so good. I was cracking up the whole time with Gambit. Like Channing Tatum did that role so well. It was so good. And then they actually had they had Chris Evans in there. And so he shows up and you're thinking like, oh hey, because you see like parts of his suit, it's like blue of his suit, and the way they have like a cape over him, masking who he is, but you can tell the voice, and they're like, wait a minute, is this who we think it is? Because you think it's Cap, but it's not Cap. It's him as Johnny Blaze.
You're like
from the Fantastic Four movie when he played, or not Johnny Blaze, Johnny Storm. Sorry, Johnny Storm. When he played Johnny Storm, and so it was so good because he's like, and obviously he looks the same actor. So, but he's got like most of the suit covered up, so he's just like, at one point before he reveals who he is, he goes, "All right, I guess I'm gonna have to say it." And Deadpool's like, "Avengers Assemble," and he goes, "Flame on!" And Deadpool's like, "Wait, what?" Yeah.
That's so funny. Yeah, I think people forget that he was in the Fantastic Four. He's not. He hasn't always been Captain America. Like
the
for us, he started out in the Fantastic Four.
Avoid if anyone, well, I mean, if anyone who's seen Loki, or if anyone who's seen the movie, you know this already, but they went to the Void, and which is where they met him. But he meets, all these people who were in other movies that people just forgot about, and they brought a lot of people who played in those movies back to reprise their roles.
Yeah.
And so he's just like, at the end of it, he's talking to the lady from the TVA, and he's like, "Can you do me a favor?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people back there who, their worlds got completely screwed, and they need to be remembered." And she goes, "I'll see what they can do." And honestly, I hate so much every time they use "Good Riddance" as a goodbye song, because it's not like it's supposed to be in memory of, or it's supposed to be like it's a song about a girl cheating on a guy. That's the song itself. But so it bothers me. But this is the only time it never bothered me, because while they were rolling the credits, they did like little behind the scenes snippets and just little scenes from different past Marvel movies. That was, I don't know. But yeah, so he's there. So he said that. But yeah, so it's it's I was tearing up, because it was just like, no, this was such a big part of my childhood, and I never realized how much it was a part of my childhood. And some of these movies, I'm just like, this movie did not hold up great, but it was back when people had fun making movies, and it was so good. It touched me on the inside. But yeah, I'm just like, I'm not crying, you're crying.
Touch the feels.
But yeah, so that's my I highly recommend watching it. So my one criticism aside, absolutely enjoyed the movie.
That kind of leads into the news. So it is, we'll say we're recording at the end of July, and July 28th. The Comic-Con in San Diego is going on right now. And I don't know about you, but I woke up to
I saw the news last night. Honestly, I'm
blowing up.
I'm not happy about
because of our new Doctor Doom. I don't know how I feel. Because I thought with Iron Man, so we'll kind of back up for a second. So there are different types of cons. You've got kind of movie, comic, and then you've got kind of book and game kind of. The one in San Diego is heavily into TV shows and comics.
You of course have many types of cons depending on what the subject for the con is. You can have conventions for literally anything. You can have conventions for farming, conventions for crafts, conventions for religion. So you can have fandom conventions, which is typically what people think about when they think conventions.
Oh, yeah.
So of fandom conventions, there are two types of major conventions here. You have number one, which is what most people think of for like Comic-Con, because that's what everyone's default is, because of, not to be that guy, but that's what the industry has plugged, because they're the ones that run Comic-Con. Yep. So Comic-Con is, any Comic-Con affiliated, is corporation run. So you see, and granted, you get information there from these corporations, so they're great, but also you only see what they want you to see. So, unless there's a reason for having a particular character or a particular franchise or person there, or they feel like they can make money off of it, typically you don't see that person there. So these are cons that are run by the corporations. San Diego Comic-Con is the largest corporation-run sci-fi, comic book, fantasy, sci-fi convention in the world.
Yes.
After that, of course, is the New York one, but we won't go into that. On the other side of that, which is the one that I personally enjoy more, are the fan-run conventions. So the major difference here is that with the fan-run conventions, the fans, obviously, they run it, they organize it, so the fans see what they want to see. So, it could be, hey, we like this show that was off the air 30 years ago. Well, you know what? We're gonna try and get those people there. Like it's not necessarily what's popular, but it's what people enjoy and what people did enjoy at one point in time. So it is, in my opinion, and you get a lot more cosplays. You get a lot more people taking like a lot more fun, a lot more liberties with stuff at fan run conventions.
You do.
You also have like concerts and dances and
run. I was like, it feels a little bit more flexible because it's kind of whatever anybody wants to do, and there's so much for everyone to do.
Yeah,
kind of thing. Because you have raves and concerts, and
I mean, and you have
covering your best friend butter
by a lot of people, but you have all sorts of fun like that. Which you don't get at Comic-Con. So yeah, so back to your big review thing.
No. Yeah. So, well, and kind of going into this, because San Diego Comic-Con is corporate based, you have a lot of those drops. So you've got new show drops, new movie drops, new game drops, new character drops. That happens a lot at these corporate run conventions. That's how they reel you in, is they're like, oh, this big thing's dropping and stuff. And you get a lot of bigger names at these corporate run conventions kind of thing. So that's why, like, around this time of year, when it's the San Diego one, you get a lot of big drops of, like last night, they revealed Robert Downey Jr. is the new Dr. Doom. I guarantee you there'll be something dropped today, whether it's a new game, movie, kind of thing. Like, I've always wanted to go just to say I've gone to one of those. Mm-hmm. Like, I do like going to the one that you and I go to. I really like going to that one too. But I just want to go to San Diego just to say that I've like done it once. But I really thought that Robert Downey Jr. was kind of done with this universe.
I'm not, like I said, I'm not happy about it. I don't know what the hell they're gonna do with it.
That's why I'm kind of confused.
Honestly, and this is someone who is a huge comic book fan, I'm about done with a lot of the comic book movies.
Yeah.
Like there are some really good ones. There's some really underrated ones that people hate on just because they want to hate on them. But
same.
Guys, let's do other movies. Let's do other storylines.
I think this train's like, yeah. Well, then we keep going back to the same characters. We keep rewriting the same characters. I feel like we could branch out and discover a lot of different characters if we're going to keep going down this comic book kind of path. Can we stop rewriting the same characters? Can we kind of venture out into different storylines and different characters and stuff? I feel like we've rewritten the same one so many times, it's not entertaining anymore for me. Like, we have rewritten Spider-Man 3 different times now. We have 3 different interpretations. Do we need any more? Can we leave this and do something else kind of thing? Superman. We have another Superman. Why do we need another Superman? Kind of thing. Like, because I really thought Robert Downey Jr. was done doing these movies when he kind of stepped away and he dies at the end of Infinity. Spoiler alert. I really thought we were done. I was like, spoiler, if you haven't watched it, he dies at the end. But I really thought he was done because, I'm sorry, but Robert Downey Jr. is always going to be Iron Man. And now you're Dr. Doom. What is going on? That's why I'm like, I'm real confused. But I thought he was done with that. That was a good segue with your movie into this. That was not intended.
In
In other news,
I've said
how do we feel about Biden withdrawing? How do we feel about this? There should be an age
cap on public office. Not to be a dick and not to sound ageist, but someone who is 65, 70 years old has no rights making laws for people.
Yes.
And deciding the future for people who are, 18, 25 years old. Like, you don't know. I mean, hell, talking to some of these young people, and I'm not, I sound like I say that like I'm an old man, agree. But talking to some of these people, and I have no fucking clue what some of the stuff they're going through. I have clue what some of it is, but not all of it. I don't even know what they're saying half the
time. Yeah. Oh, dude. My nieces and nephews,
I'm sure with our parents, it was the same way with language, so on and so forth.
Coming out of their mouths.
You don't have a right to be making laws and deciding the future for these young people with you being that old. You don't.
Yeah. 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 I saw that. Everybody was talking about that at work. My brother even messaged me. Did you see? He withdrew? Like, I'll say what I said to my brother. A civil war does not have to be physical fighting. They can put us together, put us against each other with just politics alone. I want everybody to remember that. When we get into November, and stuff's about to get real interesting and real fucking weird. Like... And also remember to vote. You're not just voting for your rights. You're voting for your daughter and your future granddaughter's rights.
It's Kamala.
Remember that.
Like, I've had this debate with people,
Camilla,
and I'm like,
or whatever her name is, Miss Harris.
Because I kept hearing people pronounce it Camilla, and I looked it up, and the proper pronunciation is Kamala.
Kamala. Miss Harris. We'll just call her Miss Harris. You don't have to agree with her. Just vote for someone. Just vote for anybody. I'll be honest, I didn't vote for either one of these fuckers. Alright? I didn't vote for either one. Because there are other options on your ballot. There are other options. Do your research. I personally take an absentee ballot, so I can look through in my state that I live in and kind of see what each person I'm voting for, how long have they been in office? If they've been in office for a really long time, I'm sorry, but you're getting voted out. You don't need to be in office for 30 plus years. Sorry. But you have all your different, you have independent parties that you can vote for. It's not just Democrat and Republican. You have other options when you vote, guys. Like... And just vote. I don't care who the fuck you vote for. You can put in your dog's name for all I care. Just vote. Just vote. Did you see? Sorry, my husband's not home, and that means my dog gets to bark at everything under the sun. This article was released in July 23rd. Keanu Reeves and China Mieville, Mieville, they co-wrote an a novel that is supposed to be out soon. It adapts the story of Reeves' BRZRKR comics.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of interesting. Keanu Reeves is going to have a novel. He's co-writing. Is coming out soon.
Like, severely?
Which I thought was kind of cool. And Yellowstone blew up this week. It was actually one of the places that my husband and I got married. We went to Yellowstone.
Well, I mean, I'm assuming it wasn't like an extremely bad explosion.
Said, I want to see it before it blows up.
I mean, it's been over.
No, it was one of their lesser basins.
Oh yeah, no, that's not that bad.
Yeah, no, but my husband and I, that's one of the places my husband and I visited. was that. So I thought that was
so like if the volcano
kind of
itself
interesting.
explodes,
He's like, see, I told you it'd explode.
America. Because like the ash fallout.
Yeah. Yeah. So the explosion was not related to the volcanic activity. It looks like they're having a lot of like wildfire problems out there. I mean, there's a huge wildfire that's going on in Oregon right now too. So it doesn't say the cause of the explosion. What caused the explosion? It wasn't volcanic. Well, then what the hell was it? Oh, it was a hot water explosion. It's geothermal. But that was a huge explosion that happened. It wrecked all the boardwalk in the basin and stuff where this happened and everything. Anybody visiting Yellowstone, just please be careful. It's already bad enough down there. You don't have any cell service. So, because you're in a valley. So just be very careful while you're down there. And then we've got wildfires in Jasper. I save a lot of book articles. Oh, we're gonna have a meteor shower. Hope everyone saw the meteor shower, shooting stars and stuff. That happened with the full moon last weekend in this week. I did not know that. Hope everybody saw those.
In the Olympics, it's especially with like all of the.
Are you gonna watch the Olympics?
They're doing more theatrics than normal, and it feels like they're trying to practice for something. But that's just me and my skeptic mindset. So.
Oh, I know. Look, I believe there's an artist that I follow. His name is Tommy Vex. He was the singer of Bad Wolves for a long time. He kind of went viral because he explains the Black Lives Matter movement and who kind of controls all that. But he talks a lot of. I don't agree with a lot of his politics. He's an amazing artist, though. But the one thing I will agree with is he talks a lot about.
It's false light.
I want you to look over here
stage match
while they do something real sneaky over here. So, yeah, that's one of the things he talks about a lot. Is he's like, they make you look to the left when they're gonna do something real shifty off to the right. So, I think that's all I've got news-wise. That's like major. Like national news. There's Indiana is passing a bill that lowers the drinking age to 18. There's a major recall in Indiana and Ohio for a lot of produce. So if you live there, please watch out for your peppers and cucumbers if you shop at Kroger, Walmart, or Aldi. So watch yourself. Got book news. We can talk about new releases.
Yeah.
That came out this week. They're not very interesting, though.
I pulled the 5.
But we can get into our tarot for this week.
AKA the 5 of Discs.
What did you pull?
AKA, I forget what the other one is that they call it. But yeah, because there's like 4 different names for it for some freaking reason. Okay.
Yeah. So I pulled the Knight of Swords.
Yeah, I went first last time.
Woo! This is going to be fun. I can go first. So, yeah. So, keywords: action, impulsiveness, and defending beliefs. When we meet the Knight of Swords, he is already in a frenzy of activity. An impulse man, he is swift to act, always charging into something or another. Being bored easily, he is never able to stay in one place, but he always has tales to tell of his adventures. With a clear focus, he is able to easily separate matters of the heart from the head and is adept at making decisions that are logical. Though he may give the appearance of fickleness, sometimes he is also one who has lofty ideals and eager and passionate enough to defend them, making him sometimes rush into confrontations. To see him in a reading, you may be called upon to defend your beliefs and be brave in the face of opposition.
Okay.
Card's lesson: I am not afraid of confrontation when it is needed. Yeah.
Interesting. So The Five of Pentacles is a card of financial loss and poverty. You have hit hard times, especially when it comes to work, your work, career, finance, and material possessions. You may have recently lost your job, your home, or your financial security. I think that's just a general everyone everywhere. In this time,
yeah,
Five of Pentacles indicates
sounds like
people
my hours
isolated and alone,
so.
just like the two people in the card. My version only has one person. Oh, that's why I am looking at the wrong card. I pulled the Four of Pentacles. I was just like, this was nothing like what I pulled, and I don't get the money.
Back up. You're like, something's wrong here.
Give me a second. What do you mean that there's no search results? I'm gonna fight my computer. I don't know how much of this you want to edit out, but or you can just have it all in there. No, I pulled 4 and it keeps trying to go to 5. I don't know. That's the internet's being dumb today. All right, let's try this again, shall we? So I pulled the 4 of Pentacles. The 4 of Pentacles shows a man sitting on a stool, blah, 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 blah. We're not, don't need the physical description. It's 4. I pulled 4. I don't know why I keep pulling up 5. Okay.
Did you say 4 or 5 of Pentacles?
Asks you to examine your relationship with money. Are you accumulating wealth and investing your money wisely while still enjoying your day-to-day life? Or are you desperately clinging to every coin, afraid of spending your money for fear that you do not have enough or could lose it forever? In the most positive state, the Four of Pentacles suggests that you have created wealth and abundance by maintaining a steady focus on your goals and acting conservatively. You are attentive to your long-term financial security, actively saving money, and working your expenses so you can accumulate wealth and live a comfortable lifestyle, not just now, but also in the future. You may consider a savings plan, family budget, a retirement plan, and safe investments so you can protect what you accommodate over time and slowly and steadily increase your net worth. So basically, this is about keeping the money you have and investing it properly and making good decisions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, don't make any quick decisions kind of thing. Yeah, don't make any quick decisions. Really think about it, think it through kind of thing. Because that's what I get from my card is you could possibly make a very hasty decision.
So be aware of and not think your it through financial stuff kind of thing. Make good decisions.
Yeah, which I mean, my hours got cut, which they get cut around this time of year anyway. So we've got a couple weeks before all our college kids and high school kids go back. So he gives them more hours because he's like, well, you're here all year round, so you get all the hours of them not being here. So it's a nice reprieve, but at the same time, I got a vehicle to pay down because I need to get a new car. I can't pay off credit cards and stuff if you don't schedule me.
Yeah, I think that's a good stopping point. So don't forget to like, rate, subscribe, share with people or animals or aliens.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is gonna come out after in 2 weeks. So this will come out August 8th-ish. We go into Mercury in retrograde. So everyone just please be aware of how you're communicating with people. Kind of thing. There's gonna be a lot of miscommunications. Get your vehicle in for an oil change or anything else before that. Double check travel plans. I will be leaving. I go out of town after Mercury retrograde begins. So double check your itineraries and stuff like that. So everyone stay safe while it's Mercury in retrograde. But like Johnny said, tell anybody, join us on Facebook and Instagram at The Wayward Dragons. You can email us at thewaywarddragons@gmail.com. You can email us news articles, books, anything, topic recommendations for our normal spooky episodes.
I'm Johnny.
Kind of thing.
Bye.
So, until next time. And I'm Kelsey. Bye.